Hello everyone, welcome back. As we have started the discussion on thermal power station, in the last lecture we have seen different components of thermal power station. In continuation to that, we will see the further components of thermal power station. The next component is ash handling system. The disposal of ash from a large capacity power station is same importance as ash is produced in large quantities. Ash handling is a major problem. To handle this ash in thermal station, there might be a sort of three kind of systems or subcomponents of ash handling system. First is manual handling. While barrows are used for this, the ash is collected directly through the ash outlet door from the boiler into the container from the manually. Second is the mechanical handling. Mechanical equipment is used for ash disposal, mainly bucket elevators, belt elevators. Ash generated is 20% in the form of bottom ash and next 80% through the flue gases, so called fly ash, and collected in EPS. The next is electrostatic precipitator. From air preheater, these flue gases which are mixed with the ash goes to EPS. The precipitator has plate blanks which are insulated from each other, between which the flue gases are made to pass. The dust particles are ionized and attracted by the charge electrodes. The electrodes are maintained at 60 kV. Hammering is done to the plates so that fly ash comes down and collect at the bottom. The fly ash is dry form is used in the cement manufacturing as well. Next is the electrical generator. The generator or alternator is the electrical end of the turbo generator set. It is generally known as a piece of equipment that converts mechanical energy of the turbine into electrical energy. The generation of electricity is based on the principle of electromagnetic induction. So with this, we have seen the components of thermal power station. Now let's see some statistics about a thermal power plant. Let us consider a thermal power plant of 1000 megawatt output power, which requires an investment of 5000 crores. To this thermal power station, it requires 12,000 tons of coal per day. It also requires furnace oil of almost 100 million cubes per day, water 98,000 million cubes per day. As well, to run the plant, it requires 80 megawatt of electricity. From this 1000 megawatt of thermal power station, daily 4200 tons of ash per day is extracted. With ash, we have emission of CO2, SO2 and NO2 as well. So CO2 emitted from thermal power station almost 30,000 tons per day, as well SO2 and NO2 around 680 tons per day. By giving inputs coal, furnace oil, water, electricity, we have electricity generated around 920 megawatts of 1000 megawatt power station. Now for more understanding, let's move towards the pictorial view of different components of thermal power plant. Let's see first coal preparation unit. In this, raw coal is processed and then processed coal is utilized for boiler as a fuel. In the first picture, this is a stackyard where coal is stored. First, when coal is received from the mines, coal is pulverized, that is, it will be converted into small particles. This pulverization is done with the help of mechanical systems or mechanical machines. The pulverization is done to increase the efficiency of the boiler. As well, it gives us one more advantage, that the ash contents of the boiler will get reduced. Once the coal is pulverized, it will be sent it to this particular chamber, which you can see in the picture. This chamber will extract the moisture content from the coal. The extraction of moisture content is also done to increase the efficiency of the boiler. Once moisture contents from the coal are get extracted, it will be sent it to remove the metallic particles from the coal. So metallic particles are removed with the help of electromagnetic separator. So in this picture you can see these are the magnets which will attract the metal parts which are there in the coal. So pulverized coal is moved through this conveyor belts. So as it comes near to the magnets, that metallic part will be get attracted towards the magnet, and then this coal is free from the magnetic parts or particles which will send it to the boiler. As far as the storage is concerned, there are two types of storage. One is the stack storage, which is outside of the thermal power station, and other is when the coal is processed. That processed coal, that means after pulverization, extraction of moisture and the magnetic separation, the coal is stored in the boiler room, which can be used for the boiler operation as a fuel. Let's see the second component, that is economizer. It is located below the LPSH in the boiler and above the preheater. The use of economizer is to improve the efficiency of the boiler by extracting heat from the flue gases to heat the water and send it again to the boiler drum. As earlier we have seen, we are getting advantages with the help of economizer, that is fuel economy, as well as it will help us to reduce the size of the boiler. Let's see the schematic shown in the left hand side of the slide. This is the economizer. In this, the cold water is getting introduced from the pipes at the bottom of the chamber, and it will be extracted from the top of the chamber as a hot water through the pipes. In the chamber, flue gases are introduced. The heat of flue gases will be extracted by the water which are flowing through the water tubes, and at the end that cold water is converted into hot water, and it will be fed it to the boiler, by which we can have the improved efficiency of the boiler. On the right hand side we can see the actual economizer which are placed in the thermal power station. These are the tubes, that is the water tubes, which are introduced to extract the heat from the flue gases, and at the bottom you can see the inlet wall of the cold water, as well as the extraction of the water, that is hot water, which we will send it to the boiler, is from the other side. Next is the air preheater. The heat carried out with the flue gases coming from the economizer is further utilized for the preheating the air before supplying it to the combustion chamber. That is, whatever heat is remained with the flue gases after extracted from the economizer, once again that heat is been utilized to extract the moisture content from the pulverized coal, by which we can, as earlier we have seen, we can able to reduce the ash content from the boiler, and we can have the improved efficiency of the boiler. In this air preheater, the hot air, first we will see the indications in this schematic. So this indicates, light blue color indicates the cold air, dark blue indicates heated air, red arrow indicates hot flue gases, pink arrow indicates cooled flue gases, and the scratch part is been shown as a thermal storage panels. So in this air preheater, the air, that is hot air, which is coming from the economizer, it will be passed. As well, this drum is rotated around rotor or around axis, which are having the air ducts around it. Then once it will be rotated around us, the extraction of heat from the flue gases is been done, and that extracted heat or extracted heat from the flue gases is been utilized further for the removing of moisture content of the pulverized coal. So hot flue gases are coming from the top towards the bottom, and air which is at the normal temperature, which is coming from bottom to top. The air at normal temperature coming from the bottom, and at the end when it is passed through the air preheater, it will be converted into the heated air, which will be utilized for the further purpose in the coal drying. On the right hand side, the actual picture of the air preheater, as well the second is also actual picture of the air preheater. Let's see the next component, condenser. The condenser condenses the steam from the exhaust of the turbine into liquid to allow it to be pumped. If the condenser can be made cooler, the pressure of the exhaust steam is reduced and efficiency of the cycle increases. Let's see the schematic diagram of condenser. This is the condenser chamber, in which tube plates are there to support the water tubes. The exhaust steam is introduced into the condenser chamber through the exhaust steam inlet. In the presence of the tubes which contains a cooled water, the exhaust steam is condensed and converted into the water, which can be extracted from this outlet valve. With this water, the remaining part of exhaust steam is taken out to the stack, as well as the cooling water is extracted from this outlet. On the right hand side, you can see the actual condenser which has been deployed in the thermal power station. So this part is of water box, the middle part which consists of water tubes, and on the right hand side the part of the water which will be introduced into the water tubes, as well the extraction of water from the cooling water outlet. In the next part, that is the component water, that is boiler feed pump, the water from the reservoir or pond will be extracted, that is taken out for to convert it into the steam. The water from the pond or reservoir is supplied to the boiler through the boiler feed pumps. They are very large pumps which will extract large amount of waters, and they will supply it to the boiler for generation of the steam. Next is the cooling tower. The cooling tower is a semi-enclosed device for the evaporating cooling of water by contact with the air. The hot water coming out from the condenser is fed to the tower on the top and allowed to trickle in form of thin sheets or drops. In the schematic diagram of the cooling tower, the natural draft system is been deployed or introduced. From this side, the hot water coming out from the condenser is been supplied or introduced into the cooling tower. Through the water distribution nozzles, it will be forced onto the cooling fill, which will allow it to convert into the water in the presence of the normal temperature air, which will be sucked with the help of draft fans. Then after, the remaining part of the steam, which will be introduced into the environment through the air outlet, which is having a temperature far less as compared to the steam which has been utilized for the steam turbine purpose. At the bottom, there is a cold water basin from which once again the water is once again pulled or pumped back to the boiler for the utilization or generation of the steam. Next is the fan or draft system. In the different parts of the thermal power plant, it needs us to circulate or supply the steam which is generated in the furnace. So steam initially generated in the furnace, that is boiler, then after it will be fed to the economizer, then air preheater, and then at the end chimney or stack. In this process, there is appropriate flow of the steam into the different parts of the or different sections of the thermal power station. So it can be done with the help of fan or draft system. On the left hand side, you can see the actual deployed fan or draft system in the thermal power station. Once the water is converted into the steam with the help of fuel, that is coal, that coal is converted into ash, and in thermal power station there is a different system to handle that particular ash. On the right hand side, you can see the ash is collected at the bottom of the boiler, and through the conveyor belts it is collected at the common place in the thermal power station, and then it will be disposed appropriately. The most important part of the thermal power station from power generation point of view is the electrical generator. The electrical generator or turbo alternator is connected to the turbine through the shaft, that is through coupling mechanism. Shaft and rotor of the generator is connected. The main function of generator is to convert mechanical energy which the generator is getting with the help of turbine, and to convert it into the electrical energy. Let's see the advantages of thermal power plant. They can be respond to rapidly changing loads without difficulty. Means if load is suddenly increases, so thermal power plant can able to supply the required amount of power on the immediate basis. A portion of the steam generated can be used as a process steam in the different industries. Means generated steam from the boiler can be utilized after the utilization to the generation of electricity. Parallelly, it can be utilized for different purposes in different industries. Steam engines and turbines can work under 25% of the overload continuously. This is the biggest advantage that thermal power plant is having. The fuel which is used in the thermal power station is very cheaper in production cost in comparison with that diesel power station. Let's talk about the demerits of thermal power plant. The maintenance and operating cost is very high as many circuits and many parts or components are involved in the operation of thermal power station. Long time required for erection and putting into the action, as it is having very complex structure. It require very long time for the erection and coming into the action, that is the actual power generation. A large quantity of water is required to produce the electricity. Great difficulty experienced in the coal handling, because on the daily basis lot of coal is required to generate the electricity, which will be from steam. Presence of troubles due to the smoke and heat in the plant. So as lot of heat is involved with the plant, there is bit difficulty in the operations. As well, lot of smoke is produced from the plant, which will be harmful for the environment. Unavailability of the good quality coal, which is most important problem which many of the thermal power plants are placing. Therefore, they are importing coal from different countries which is of good quality, which will increases the ultimate cost of the power generation. Maximum of heat energy is lost in the different cycles of the thermal power plant. As well, the problem of ash removing is also there in the thermal power stations. So this is about the overall components, their working, their functions, which are used in the thermal power stations. For more updates and details of the course Power Plant Engineering, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.